Down if. All right, so hello everybody. So it looks like I'm the only one here thus far. So I guess we're just be waiting a few minutes to see who else might show up. Yeah. So, anyways, hopefully everybody's doing fine today. Hopefully everybody had a good day today, and we'll be ready to hit the anime news circle. We're just, as I said, we're just waiting on some people to show up so we can get started. So, anyways, let's see now. Walking in a town in a faceless crowd, need to feel the touch of a friend. In the countryside, I wander far and wide. The isolation gets me again. I don't know where to go. Feels just like crying. Oh my. I look to open myself. Do something new. I want to stop and grow up a bit. Then suddenly my intuition and my wisdom grow. And then I know that most of all, compassionately, strangers wherever they go. Thank you for waking me up. Hmm. Downtown dance. Run away when you know you're insane. Run away when you know you're. Well, hello, we have a second person here. Hello, hopefully you had a good day today. I hope you're, and thank you for the like and share. As I said, we're just waiting on a few people. We do have, um, we're gonna probably be focusing in on anime tonight. Um, as I've just had 3 straight days where it's been all comics, so we're gonna try to balance out the news stories and stuff a little bit here. And I'll get to, hey, action. Shh, Mike. Shh, Mike might notice me. Laugh out loud. Ah. Hmm. Hey, Toys. Hopefully you had a good day today. Hey, I heard you got a new job. I saw, I guess, on a Facebook post that you got a new job. You want to talk a little bit about it while we're waiting for more people to show up? Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away, run away, run. Oh my. When? Well, didn't you post? I could have sworn I saw something on your Facebook feed that you said you got a new job this sometime over the weekend. I guess because you were saying something about starting a new job or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, you got your third job. I guess you pointed this out back on the 22nd. So, guess it was Saturday. Saturday mornings when you posted it that you got a new job or a third job, I guess. I got one last year and still in archaeology, and it's still Well, from what I saw, I just looked it up now. Um, I guess you posted on. I guess you posted. Oh, third jab. Okay, my bad. I misread it. I misread it. Okay, it said you got your third jab, not your third. I thought jab got my boot. Okay, now I get it. Okay, I for whatever reason, I guess I was registering it in my head as job. My bad. Anyways, hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you and your family are doing well. We're just Mike, your some timers is your sometimers is showing. Well, I am 46 years old. You know how that goes. You start getting in your mid to late 40s, and yes, you start showing. You do start showing your age a little bit. Uh, Anyways, I said we're just waiting around to let some more people come in. Yeah. Tonight it's gonna be a little more anime focused, as opposed to as to comics. As I know, the last 3 days we've done like pretty much almost all comic stories. So gonna focus in on anime a little bit more tonight. Anyways, give me a moment because Chloe's barking again, so I gotta go take care of her. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Looks like we had a third person drop in. Okay, I guess now with three people. Let's see. Oh, you should check out Hypno Love. It's a good anime. There's always a chance I will. We got four people now. Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's had a good day. Okay, so it looks like we're getting some people in here now. As always, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the channel, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Okay, so here's what's on tap for tonight. As we're coming up on 9 minutes now, and got a nice little crowd growing here. So here's what's on tap for tonight. I got four stories tonight, all anime. We're gonna do, among those include. We're gonna look a little bit at upcoming change to Tsunami as coming out not this Saturday but next Saturday. Shenmue. Shenmue will be making its premiere on Toonami next Saturday. Also, we're going to be talking a little bit about Netflix and their stock dropping a little bit. We're covering that story. Also, we will be. Also, it was announced that the American there that they've, I guess, put out the trailer, I guess, for the American release of Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. and also we're going to be looking at a profile piece from. So basically, the first thing with the Toonami, we're going to be just looking simply at Wikipedia. A couple of the anime stories from Bounding into Comics, the one about Netflix, as well as the one about the Jujutsu Kaisen release, and then to finish it off, we'll be looking at a kind of a profile piece on at least in one of the writers from Critical Blast, Bill Cathcart's opinion of what the three best anime-based video games are. So that's all that's on tap for tonight. As I said, we're gonna just. Hi, I've been trying to understand Kepler's law well enough to do some computer graphics with it. Hmm. Well, couldn't help you there, my friend. Sorry about that. Anyways, hey, Woody, thanks for dropping in. As always, guys, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream to see if we can get some more people in here, that'd be appreciated. Particularly some more friendly people who want to learn and stuff like that. So, without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and let's see. I want to understand orbits like Elroy Jetson. Meet the Jetsons. Da 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 da. Meet George Jetson. Da 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 da. His boy Elroy. Da 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 da. Daughter Judy. Da 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 da. Jane, his wife. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Anyways, okay, with that being done and said, let's go ahead and get into the stories now that we're going to be talking about. As I said, the first one we're going to be looking at um, Toonami here. Kind of a schedule update here. I probably should go ahead and max it out so you guys can see that a little better. So let me go back here. Maybe we don't need to go that large, but see what happens when you go larger. They send you back up to like the. Give me a sec. Just I was trying to make it bigger for you guys so you could see it a little better here. All right, so let's see how that looks. Oh, that's probably better. All right. A little better there. Anyways, let's see. I will go up a couple more here. Again, I just made it bigger so you guys could see it a little better. Obviously, I'm going to be reading it off, so it's not that big of a deal, but still. All right, so starting February 5th, which was not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Anyways. All right. So, anyways, All right. So, with all that being said here, okay, so starting February 5th, Saturday, February 5th, 2022, Toonami's lineup will be as followed. Blade Runner Black Lotus will be on at midnight. That's, Saturday night, Sunday morning. So, Saturday night, February 5th, Sunday morning, February 6th. Um, Followed by Shenmue on at 12:30, Assassination Classroom on at 1, Made in Abyss on at 1:30, and then a full hour of One Piece on at 2 a.m. and then at 3 Naruto Shippuden and Cowboy Bebop at 3:30. Those are, for the most part, the latter half of that schedule is, of course, all reruns. Now, this Saturday, of course, they still have Blade Runner on at midnight, with Assassination Classroom on at 12:30, Made in Abyss on at 1, and then an hour of One Piece at 1:30, and then an hour of Naruto Shippuden on at 2:30, and then finishing off. So basically, once Shamui premieres, they're gonna push Assassination Classroom and Made in Abyss back a half hour, and then only cut Shippuden down to half hour there. Hey, Woody. So, anyways, all right. Well, let's also take a look at Shenmue, which is said to be a Toonami and Crunchyroll original anime. Let's see. Shenmue, also known as Shenmue the Animation, is an upcoming Japanese anime television series animated by Telecom Animation Film, based on the Shenmue video game series by Yu Suzuki and published by Sega. The anime is a co-production between Crunchyroll and Adult Swim and is set to premiere on February 6th. Basically, it will be on at like 12:30 Sunday morning. Basically, this is the Saturday night, Sunday morning lineup. Basically, okay. So here's the plot for Shinmui. After he witnesses his father's murder at the family dojo, Ryo dedicates his life to finding the man responsible, a mission that takes him from the streets of Yokosuka, Japan, to the sprawling metropolis of Hong Kong and beyond. Ryo will learn that larger mystical forces are at play as he trains to become the ultimate martial artist in his quest for revenge. So basically, it sounds like a pretty interesting story. It was a 13-issue episode. The original run is starting, we said, Friday night, or I'm sorry, Saturday night, February 5th, Sunday, January 6th, on Toonami at 12:30 a.m. So, anyways, as we will continue on here, of course. Um, so let's get an idea. So, licensed by Crunchyroll. Let's see, Telecom Animation Film. So let's see. Austin Trindle, Scott Gibbs, Natalie Rial. So this looks like it's going to be handled in the dubbing, the English dub. Looks like it's going to be handled by Sentai. A lot of these actors, some of them have worked with Funimation as well, but the majority of these people are, basically, um, basically out of Houston. So that's pretty much it for that story. So Shenmue will be um, debuting next Saturday night, Sunday morning on Toonami. So hopefully you guys might want to check that out. So with that all being done and said, now it's time to move on to the next set of stories. The next we got to again tonight's going to be all anime. So 37. So all right, it looks like I'm the only one here right now. I would think at least Toys would have liked to stick around because I know he's a bit into anime. So, anyways, all right, time to move on to the next story here. Excuse me again, folks. Sounds like Chloe's starting to bark again. So I'll be right back. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Um, here's the next article we're going to look at. Let me see. Just checking some things here real quick. But they also figured out each commentator. I look at all. I go. All right, so let's see. Anybody here? I guess I'm still the only here at the moment. Anyways, Netflix stock continues to tank, and here's why. Article by Slade Hale, published today. It's in the anime, movies, and television. Of course, because Netflix has a bunch of animes that they've been showing. So let's see. So let's see what Slade has to say about why Netflix stock is tanking. All right, so streaming giant Netflix is staring down the barrel of a massive stock drop off that began a few days ago and seems to be accelerating as would-be investors decide whether to grab stock while the price is low. The question remains as to whether it'll bounce back into healthy territory or remain a wet noodle on the market. A wet noodle. That's an interesting analogy. Let's see. And of course, guys, always feel free to. There you are, Woody. Hey. Ahoy. Yeah. Seems like seems, seems like people have disappeared on me. Seems like Anyways, getting back to the article here. Let's see, where were we? Oh yeah, wet noodle. That was right. Interesting analogy he used there to describe what's going on. I think some people would find that a lot of this, that some of these streaming services might be wet noodles, but anyways. Meanwhile, those on the more conservative side of the pop culture aisle have been watching over the past year as Netflix walked the proverbial plank, yet their questionable creative and marketing decisions aren't the sole reason for Netflix's spectacular crash, and things are a little more complex than many realize. Now, of course, we all remember the whole cutie scandal, and I think that was on Netflix. Hey, Don't Look Up from 2021 from Netflix. There, okay. While um, while it's all too easy to point the finger at Netflix's decision to prioritize wokeness in many of its properties, the truth is that some of its major migraines aren't necessarily self inflicted. That being said, Netflix has managed to shoot itself in the in the face, not in the foot, in the face. Okay, that's probably even worse. We often talk about shooting yourself in the foot. Well, this guy is comparing what they're doing to not shooting yourself in the foot, but shooting yourself in the face. That's a bit worse. I mean, you shoot yourself in the face, there's a chance that bullet may go to your brain, and then you end up brain dead. Anyways, on more than one, of course, there are certain arteries that are down in the legs that, if a bullet was to actually get caught in it, could go directly to your brain as well. So, anyways, that being said, Netflix has managed to. Oh yeah, we read that part on. And those mistakes have compounded an already difficult competitive position in the market space. And of course, there are. But then I guess he's going to go through his reasonings here. Um, let's see now. All right, so get woke, you know the rest. Yeah, we know the rest. Get woke, go broke. The truth is that Netflix isn't the only streaming company to go down the path of woke self annihilation, but we have seen similar results on other platforms, notably Disney Plus, which is currently facing its own set of unique challenges. Wokeness runs directly proportional to how quickly audiences tune out from a particular movie or film. Properties that sprinkle wokeness about in small doses tend to skirt under the radar, at least for a time, while bold, in your face woke properties become so overly antagonistic that they drive viewers away in abject horror, a la the live action version of Cowboy Bebop. We saw this. That's a perfect example of that. Perfect example of live action Bebop. Um, Sense Eight, Netflix. Netflix faces a bit of an identity crisis on this front. On the one hand, it openly promises ultra woke properties, while simultaneously defending anti woke content, such as Dave Chappelle's controversial The Closer. Um, the problem with straddling the political fence is that it ends up alienating customers on both sides. to Netflix's own detriment. Well, that's true. And trying to pander to both halves of the audience, sometimes if you try to, um, sometimes when you try to do both, you do neither. So, hi, all. Hey, Rick, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. If you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, and um, you can like and share the stream, and see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Um, so yeah, we're going over anime stories tonight, Rick, just because I know the last 3 days has been strictly comics content, so I decided to just focus a little bit more on anime tonight. Um, so we went over like the Toonami schedule for starting not this Saturday but next Saturday, and then I'm also looking. We're also right now looking at while Netflix's stock is dropping at the moment. So anyways, okay. So another issue is how Netflix is leveraging their woke content to the rest of the world. Um, it's delusional to think that most countries have embraced wokeness the same way that Western nations have, which is true because we talk a lot about it when we talk about how manga is beating Western comics in sales, how they're quite literally kicking the what out of them. So, which means it's practically impossible to entice viewers in countries like India, where it hasn't taken root. Oh, brother, what's this from? You're white people. Oh, this looks stupid. That picture looks stupid. Anti-woke conservative types, fed up with Netflix's self um, aggrandizing political propaganda, will find it remarkably easy to cancel their subscription. However, the same goes for the other side of the political aisle as well. Netflix's problem is that it hasn't yet figured out that its woke audience accounts for a fraction of its own subscription base, while the rest are normies who aren't the slightest bit interested in radical political messaging. Um, yeah, which is true. I mean, and 9 times out of 10, it's the conservatives who actually have and will spend more of the money too, or have more of the money to spend. So, and of course, I know one of the other things been talked about like a couple months ago the massive was the massive subscription drop off from Netflix as well. Doing good. Yeah, that's good to hear, Rick. Anyways, so let's move on to the next part of the article here. Geo-locked content. Geo-locked content. Oh, I think I know what this is. In other words, depending upon what country it's being shown in, some countries have a ban on certain content. Let's see what he talks about here. Netflix has stared down the problem of geo-locked content for years, and the situation hasn't gotten any better. Depending on which part of the planet Earth a subscriber hails from, Netflix is either a decent investment or a lump of coal. Canadian viewers will attest to this firsthand, as their Netflix catalog was, is, and always will be subpar compared to their southern neighbors. Limited movies, TV show. Yeah, that's almost a lie in the Netflix website if in certain parts of the world. Painting the subscription base with one brush is impossible given the geolocation dynamics in play. In 2021, the United States of America averaged 67 million Netflix subscriptions, which is an astonishing number for a country with a population of 334 million. So that's that's about one fifth. It's about a fifth right there, a fifth of the population right there. In other countries, those numbers were far lower. Canada averaged 7 million subscriptions, while the UK had 13 million subscriptions. Um, had 13 million. France had 8 million. Germany had 11 million. And Australia had 6 million. Even India, a massively populous country, averaged an anemic 5 million. Brazil came in second with around 18 million. So those compared to that 67 million, that's pretty small. A lot of those are not even 10%. I think some of them may even be as low as 5% of the population. Altered carbon from Netflix there. While some of these numbers are proportional to respective population sizes, okay, another part is undoubtedly related to geo-locked content, and that's a problem. Sure, it's difficult to gain licenses necessary to broadcast content in different countries, but if Netflix thinks that its original programming is enough to offset that challenge, it has another thing coming. Yeah, because if the original content is woke, there are a lot of these places like India, Japan, that just won't. That will tell you try to push the woke stuff. Will just tell you to go where you can go shove it, where you can go stick it. So um, that's obviously a problem. Yeah. So, anyways, price hikes, which is another thing that's been going on. Price hikes are nothing new for Netflix or any business for that matter, and they're bound to happen sooner or later. But they must coincide with a value proportion, with a proposition. Unfortunately, that's not happening. Netflix has a remarkable propensity for torpedoing its own content at a record pace and axing any show that doesn't immediately set the world on fire. Well, yeah, that doesn't make much sense for them to do, considering that most programs probably do need time to find their audience. Original content aside, Netflix continues to fail on the established property front. The blame can't be placed squarely on the company either, as adjacent big name players start getting into lucrative streaming business. They're simultaneously hedging all of their properties behind their own respective paywalls. There's Luke Cage. Netflix. Looks like he may have a sleeper hold on the guy, carotid hold. That means Netflix has to rely on lesser quality content in combination with its own original IPs in order to remain competitive. So if your company is sending out D and F grade material, and you got other companies that are sending out A material, A or B grade material, which company do you think is going to to succeed? The one sending out the AB grade material, or the one sending out the DF grade material? Canada is about 20% with that 7. Okay. Yeah, I was comparing it to the US numbers, but you make a good point there. Thank you for clarifying that. But that's still pretty low too, when you think about it. I mean, if it is proportional to the size and you have at least two countries where we've pretty much figured out that it's about 20%, there is a legitimate problem there. When basically what you're saying is in the US and Canada, 1 in 5 households is watching, watching the shows that are on Netflix. Let's see. It's doable, but Netflix approaches the problem with all the grace of a bull in a china shop. This guy uses some pretty interesting analogies. Uh, uh, anyways, for regular customers, the value of the platform continues to decay right before their very eyes. It also doesn't help that Netflix has recently decided to hike its subscription rate again in the face of a massive stock drop. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? The value of companies going down. Now, Grant, maybe to keep the salaries up and what have you, I can understand that. But if you're not producing a quality product, maybe the pricing isn't the problem. Maybe it's the quality of the product that's the problem. So yeah, maybe if you're producing subpar content, maybe you should let people go who are producing that content and bring in people who are going to produce better content. Maybe the executives don't need those corporate bonuses when their company is producing garbage, right? That's, I think, what a lot of people are thinking these days. It is also okay. Yeah, this is bad business all around, and it's a juvenile tactic on the company's part. Just as a smart retailer would never hike the price of goods to try to offset weak sales, yeah, that's just going to make those sales even weaker. That people just go elsewhere. Neither should Netflix be jacking up subscription rates while its stock is in free fall. Free falling. Let's see if you guys are saying anything more about that. We at least got 3 people watching now, so that's good. And thank you guys for the likes and shares. Do appreciate that. No patience when developing new IPs, which is something I kind of talked about a little bit earlier too. They also were alluding to it a little bit earlier too. Netflix's unwillingness to cultivate solid, workable properties is a constant source of unyielding frustration for its subscriber base. Over the past decade, an innumerable amount of new IPs have been given the chop before they even had a chance to establish themselves and rally a loyal fan following. The Netflix marketing model makes this painfully obvious when they tend to throw money at a property that immediately scores high with the viewers while dooming others with an unlimited potential into the bowels of its own catalog. Bowels. Yeah, your bowels is basically where all your waste go in your body before it's extricated. Um, Extricated. Anyways, the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. That looks like a well, some kind of little animal girl, maybe a donkey girl. Even shows that weren't worth the paper their scripts were printed on are doomed to the fire if Netflix doesn't see the numbers it wants immediately. uh, Ironically, a lot of these properties include performances from high profile actors like Don Johnson, Kathy Bates, Regina King, Naomi Watts, and Robin Wright, to name but a few. For a company to invest so much in these actors, only to 86 their shows in the blink of an eye is unfathomable. Yeah, it would make you think too that maybe these actors would start rethinking their association with Netflix if this is how they do business. Because I think even for some of these actors, you know, it wouldn't behoove them to, if they think that if it doesn't get off to a good start, then Netflix doesn't drop them like a rock in a sea, like a huge boulder in a sea. Uh, yeah. So we're making good time then, at least. And I thank everybody for any likes and shares you guys are helping me out with. I do appreciate that. Help get the word out. And if you guys have any questions on what we're going over, or if you guys have any comments, feel free to chime in. I'll be glad to respond. It should be more than just me reading the articles and getting the word out. You guys should feel free to interact as well. I'll be glad to answer any questions or in regards to the articles that we're talking about or anything niche. Um, so don't be shy. You got something to say it. Losing lucrative content. As mentioned before, Netflix isn't the only streaming service on the block, and it's facing increasing competition year over year as others get into the game. Even Amazon Prime has enough of a subscription base to deal a dent in the Netflix model, and their membership is tied directly to the sale of products on their own site. Hmm. So, a service where you have to not only pay the subscriber from at least if I'm understanding that statement correctly, not only do you have to pay to subscribe to the site, but you also have to pay to actually watch the property as well. I mean, that's not necessarily a nice business idea either. But if even there, with that business practice, doing good, then better than Netflix, and that should tell you that Netflix is in some real trouble there. Netflix doesn't have this accompanying revenue stream to fall back on, so there's no way to leverage it as a win-win for the consumer. That means it has to rely exclusively on content that can attract viewers, keep their interest, and generate enough of a buzz to get others to sign up. Mm-hmm. Daredevil, Netflix. Unfortunately, this is becoming more and more difficult as the years drag on. The most obvious example of Netflix losing lucrative content occurred when Disney purchased Marvel Studios. Almost overnight, Netflix's MCU tie in shows like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage were mothballed, and they're only now starting to make a return. Unfortunately, Netflix can't capitalize on this new development as it no longer owns the rights of those properties. And what they're talking about, of course, is the broadcasting rights. In other words, they had I think from what I understand, they probably had the exclusive broadcasting rights. Or they were the ones who had the rights to broadcast the show for But now that Disney bought out Marvel Studios, they could just, broadcast those shows on Disney Plus now. Unfortunately, okay, yeah, okay. The same holds true for classic movies and TV shows, which are in high demand right now. Disney Plus might be facing its own challenges, but it also has a prolific back catalog to stabilize its own subscriber base, at least for now. It just doesn't care. In 2021, Netflix took the mask off and said uh, the quiet part out loud during the debacle that was Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation, and we all remember that. Remember the news all around that series. In response to biblical levels of fan blowback, Smith let the cat out of the bag when he claimed that Netflix higher ups simply didn't care whether people watch the show or not. Oh, that's that's a the executives don't even give a hoot. Ah, yeah. When even your bosses don't care, that's a problem too. Ah, that's one big stinker of a problem. And then here's I guess a video a screenshot of the Master of the Universe Revelation left to right. Kevin Michael Richardson as Beastman, Tiffany Smith as Andra, Chris Wood as Prince Adam, Sarah Michelle Gellar as Tila, Lena Headey as Evelyn, in episode 105 of Masters of the Universe Revelation. There you go, right there. This is, in a word, nuts. It's also part of the reason why Netflix is facing a collapsing subscriber base and tumbling stock prices. Well, yeah, I mean, if even your own bosses, your own higher ups don't give a hoot about what kind of garbage that the lower level managers are putting on the site, that's a problem. That is a major problem. You would think that as these higher ups, as they're not making as much money as they were before, you would start to think, hey, that the check's not as big as it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Why is that? What you're telling me that we're producing crap? What do you mean we're producing crap? I was getting $10,000 a week like 2 or 3 years ago. Now I'm only getting 5,000. Why is that? You tell me because we're producing crap? Stop producing crap. uh, and yes, I know I used the word crap there, but I was being facetious, obviously. You know, I was trying to illustrate a point there. Anyways, all right. So, anyways, getting back to the and now it looks like we lost somebody. Oh well, I will get back to the story, guys. Let's see. Yeah. The sheer hubris it takes to hold such a lukewarm position in business is astonishing. Yet this is where Netflix has decided to stand. Of course, they should care, especially when their entire revenue stream revolves around creating content that people want to watch. Netflix pays a pretty penny to develop these IPs, yet seems completely nonchalant when it comes to their performance. Legendary Voltron Legendary Defender. Oh, this must be a newer Voltron series. The truth is that Netflix cannot wave off the failure of one or two of its properties and expect a few thousand remaining ones to pick up the slack. Customers hate being fooled, and if they sense that a company is giving them the runaround, they'll simply take their business elsewhere, and that will be that. It's just true. That is 100% true. Relying too much on established properties. Netflix reportedly spent about $600 million on the rights to stream Seinfeld, which is no small number. It's also part of a bigger problem. The company's over reliance on big name hits. Yeah, that can be a problem because even with very popular IPs, right? If you just keep showing them over and 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 over again, you keep showing them like that, people are just going to get sick. You're going to start having people at their computers just totally throwing up. By this time, most people have watched every episode of Seinfeld available on their local TV station via reruns. hmm Over and over and over, really get you down. So the question is whether Netflix thinks that it can prop up its subscriber base with instantly recognizable properties and simply ride out the storm. Granted, it surely doesn't hurt to have a few of these properties loaded into the catalog, but there never be a reliable long-term growth model. Well, yeah, because again, you know, now granted, I know a few shows that are on TV now and again, in reruns like Little House on the Prairie, MASH, um, Walker Texas, the Walker Texas Ranger from back in the '90s, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, you know, Touch My Neighbor. Sometimes I'll get kind of caught in. Maybe for a few days there, we'll kind of click on there for a little bit. But after a while, especially if you get to the point where you're watching them on a regular basis, and then they start to recycle and stuff like that, then it kind of like what that song from Bruce Springsteen saying back in, I think it was 90 or 91. 57 channels and there's nothing on. 57 channels and there's nothing on. So anyways, getting back to the story here. Okay. The company is also facing an unusual challenge when it comes to its own content. Shows like Squid Game may have become a viral phenomenon, but it was beaten by Lucifer in terms of overall viewership. When one takes into account how much money Netflix spent to license the property, that's somewhat embarrassing. Cobra Kai. Netflix does have a number of killer properties still at its beck and call, including Cobra Kai, The Witcher, and The Crown. But these shows alone cannot act as tent poles to prop up the entire platform. Yeah, it sounds like those those tent poles are made of paper, I guess. Those things will be crashing down soon enough, I guess. As more and more companies start reclaiming their properties, Netflix will have to step out of its comfort zone. An awful interface. We're about halfway through the stories tonight. Hey, Jason, we're covering more anime stuff tonight. Brian, you missed a story earlier where I was talking about Toonami and their updated schedule, but you can always go back. But covering the Netflix story right now. And if you can like and share the stream and to see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. But we're doing all anime stories tonight, so you might want to stick around. This one I know isn't as directly involved with anime. It's more about Netflix, but still, because it does show anime on its platform. But anyways, getting back to the article here. An awful interface. Surely, after so many years in operation, Netflix should develop a more intuitive user interface, especially when it comes to finding content. As it stands, not a lot of progress has been made on that front, which means customers inevitably end up deluged by a sea of titles without an optimal way of sifting through them. Yeah, I guess what they're saying is being able to access the titles a little quicker to whether you want to research them or watch them. I guess is what they're getting at. Yeah, with that statement. Squid Game 2021 Netflix. This is a common problem with many platforms that have so much to offer. Eventually, it becomes so overwhelming that viewers fail to pull the trigger on any of them. It's all too easy to rely on word of mouth advice from a friend, family member, or coworker and simply binge a select few titles at a time. However, when that content has been digested, it's back to darting all over the menu in an effort to find something new. Netflix could seriously do with a major overhaul of its interface. Well, yeah, like maybe one option is to categorize by genres. In other words, having one site for kids show, having one site for western, one for comedies, one for action. That kind of thing. Let's see. All right, let's see. Netflix could seriously do with a major overhaul of its interface, especially when it comes to search options. As it stands, there's simply too little criteria on hand to stave off indecision. Let's see, turning it around. Turning it around. Any company can change course, but it's always going to be a matter of commitment. One gets the impression that Netflix has become far too inflexible, and any attempt to change so late in the game will be driven largely by investor panic, further exacerbating the problem. Unfortunately, this is a crisis of its own making, and only Netflix could bear responsibility for where it now sits. Sports Complex, YouTube. The company is going to have to make some major decisions if it wants to survive. Um, while courting content that others might have ignored. For example, if Netflix ever got into live sports broadcasting, its combined subscription model um, would look absolutely tantalizing for millions of viewers eager to get the best of both worlds. Hulu gave this model a shot, but it doesn't have anywhere near the influence and pull that Netflix does. Now's the time to strike while the iron is hot. Instead of blowing obscene amounts of money into the properties that will either face fan rejection or the heavy hand of Netflix's decision makers. This article is pretty long here. NCIS. Oh, we're coming to an end, and we're finally coming to the end of this article. Of course, it's possible that Netflix's downward spiral is irreversible, in which case it may become the J.C. Penney of the streaming market. As it stands, the company is currently spending way too much money while acting reckless with its properties and ignoring the largest part of its customer base. One thing for certain, no company is too big to fail. No matter how killer their business model might look on paper. So there you go. There's that one. We will be getting to the next article, which will be, and this one is probably one that a lot of people should be interested in. Let's see if you guys are saying anything about the hour 7. Opinion on Tatsuki Fujimoto trying to levitate. I have no opinion because I have no idea what you're even talking about. But here's something that you might be interested in, Jason. I don't know if you're somebody who watches Jujutsu Kaisen. This article came out today. So, North American release date announced for Jujutsu Kaisen 0 theatrical debut. Article by John F. Trent published earlier today. So, for those of you who might be Jujutsu Kaisen fans out there, here's the latest movie announcement. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 now has a North American theatrical release date courtesy of Crunchyroll. The anime film from Toho Animation will arrive in theaters in the United States and Canada on March 18th, with tickets going on sale February 25th. So the tickets go on sale a month from now. See, March 18th. So let me see. Today is the 25th of January. So let's see. Let me see now. 317, 14, 21. Friday. So I believe the tickets go on sale like basically 4 weeks from this Friday, and then 7 weeks. It's 7 weeks till the 7 weeks until the premiere. I watch JJK. Okay. Some video I watched of CSM author being dumb. Uh, all right. Well, anyways, getting back to the article here. The film will be shown in more than 1,500 theaters with both a subtitled and English dub version. In a press release, Crunchyroll also noted that there will be select screenings at US based IMAX theaters. Crunchyroll also promised the film will be arriving in theaters in the United States, United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, and France, and New Zealand, France, with CRG events, Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, Austria, Switzerland, Sweden, Finland, Netherlands, French-speaking Africa, and Latin America. However, they did not reveal the release date for those locations. So we're getting it here on March 18th. It's 7 weeks from this Thursday. The anime film is based on Gege Akutami's prequel manga to a smash hit Jujutsu Kaisen. The manga, published in Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump, has sold over 60 million copies in Japan alone. The official description for the film states Jujutsu Kaisen Zero follows Yuta Okotsu, a nervous high school student who enrolls in the mysterious Tokyo Jujutsu High School under the guidance of Satoru Gojo after being haunted by the ghost of his childhood friend. The anime and movie of curses. A more in-depth official synopsis begins, quote, when they were children, Rika Orimoto was killed in a traffic accident right before the eyes of her close friend, Yuta Okotsu. Quote, if they promise when we both grow up, we'll get married. Rika became an apparition, and Yuta longed for his own death after suffering under her curse. But the greatest jujutsu sorcerer, Satoru Gojo, welcomed him into Jujutsu High. Unquote. Quote, there, Yuta meets his classmates, Maki Zenin, Toge Inumaki, and Panda, and finally finds his own determination. Smaller quotes, I want the confidence to say it's okay that I'm alive, unquote. Quote, while I am at Jujutsu High, I'll break Rika-chan's curse, unquote. The synopsis states. It continues, quote, meanwhile, the vile curse user, Suguru Geto, who was expelled from the school for massacring ordinary people, appears before Yuta and the others. This coming December 24th, we shall carry out the night parade of 100 demons. Unsmaller quote. December 24th, which is Christmas Eve, of course. The synopsis concludes, quote, while Ghetto advocates for creating a paradise for only Jujutsu sorcerers, he unleashes 1,000 curses upon Shinjuku and Kyoto to exterminate all non-sorcerers. While Utah, um, will Utah be able to stop Ghetto in the end? And what will happen to breaking Rika's curse? The film is directed by Song-Hoo Park and animated by Mappa. It features the voice talents of Megumi Ogata as Yuta Okotsu, Kana Hanazawa as Rika Orimoto, Mikato Komatsu as Maki Zenin, Koki Uchiyama as Toge Inumaki, Tomokazu Seki as Panda, Yuichi Nakamura as Satoru Gojo, and Takahiro Sakurai as Suguru Geto. Wow. Satoru Gojo and Suguru Geto. I always have to wonder if they're like clones of each other or something like that. They got very similar names there. According to Box Office Mojo, the film grossed over 16.3 million or 64.3 million in its first 3 weeks in Japan. In their press release, Crunchyroll notes the film had the second highest opening for a film in Japan box office history, trailing Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Mugen Train, which we've talked about quite a bit. The numbers notes that film grossed $47.7 million at the domestic box office, a total of $503 million worldwide. Demon Slayer is currently second highest grossing film of all time in North America, behind Pokemon, the first movie. Just grossed $85.7 million back in 1999. And there we go with that one. Do you plan on catching Jujutsu Kaisen? All right. I do have one more anime article to kind of go through here, but I am going to. Jujutsu Kaisen manga is scheduled to end in 2023 if all goes well. All right. That's good to know, Jason. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna first set up the next story here, the last story of the night. But I'm gonna step away from the computer after that for a couple minutes. Got to go take care of something real quick, and I'll be back to do the final main story of the night, and we'll probably start to wind down a bit here. All right, so I'll leave you with that visual for a moment while I go off camera here for a moment. Just gotta go take care of something real quick. I'll be right back. All right. So, anyways, um, let's see what Jason looked like. You said something. If you had the opportunity to have a small cameo voice role in any anime for a minor character, how would you react? Just curious. I'd be happy with it. I'd be glad to do something like that. Um, am I gonna go all sort of, oh my god, they cast? No, I'm not gonna do that. But back internet died. Oh, okay. I was wondering why you hadn't heard from you in a while there, Toys. Well, you know that I keep my streams up, so you can always go back and catch whatever you missed. We're actually coming to the last story. I talked a lot about Netflix, and we just did a story on the. We just did a story. We just went over a story on the. We just did a story on the North American release for Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. And earlier, of course, I went over some stuff from Toonami. So, anyways, we have one last main article to go through here. Um, and if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream and see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that would be appreciated. I see we have 6 people in here now, so that's cool. Um, anyway, so let's get to this last article here. 3 of the best anime video games of all time. I wonder what. So submitted by Bill Casticart on Tuesday at 7:40, which would be 7:42 a.m. I guess my time. So let's take a look here and see what he has to say about this stuff. Okay. Anyone who enjoys anime knows the industry is nothing short of massive. Widely available statistics show that the anime industry was valued at more than $23.5 billion in 2020, which increased to almost $25.5 billion in 2021. Experts predict the global anime market will tip the scales at over $48 billion by 2030. Wow, what a jump. No wonder the video game world wants a slice of the anime action. Well, yeah, I do know of a number of games that animate, the Dot Hack project. That's a mega franchise that has not just the games but animes associated with it as well. Let's see, Sword Art. Well, I don't know as much about Sword Art Online, but video game adaptations of anime are nothing new. Gamers have enjoyed anime to video game adaptations for the best part of 2 decades. Some anime games were blockbusters in their own right and had people using their sportsbook bonus to bet on on them winning several end of the year awards. Others are a little more specialist and um, probably only enjoyed if you are a hardcore anime and manga fan. The following 3 games are a trio of anime adaptations you simply must play. Give me a second. I gotta step away from the camera again, guys. Want to check? Need to check something. I'll be right back. Alrighty then. So here we go. Let's continue with the article here. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Heard of this one? Licensed under CCPD M 1.0. Anime video games do not come much better than the iconic Dragon Ball Fighter Z, developed by Arc System Works and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. Dragon Ball Fighter Z launched in late January 2018 on Windows, PS4, and Xbox One. Nintendo Switch players got in on the action 9 months later. Dragon Ball Fighter Z launched to rave reviews with fans and critics alike, leading to the game being voted one of the best fighting games released on the 8th generation of video game consoles. Reviewers praised the game's fighting system, story mode, vast character roster, and visuals. However, the game came in for some criticism regarding its online functionality. Fans of the show will, without a shadow of a doubt, love the Dragon Ball Fighter Z game adaptation. Players select 3 characters from the vast Dragon Ball franchise's roster, but only control one of them at any one time. However, it is possible to switch between all 3 characters and combine their moves by performing devastating assist moves. Yeah, sounds like your typical fighting game. And Dragon Ball is probably one of the best, one of more well-known franchises. The game has shipped more than 8 million copies to date. The various DLC helping sustain this epic game's longevity. Astro Boy Omega Factor. Astro Boy is another long-time, well-known, famous property. All right, so let's see now. Astro Boy Omega Factor. Anything that the godfather of manga, Osamu Tezuka, touches tends to turn to gold, which is why Astro Boy Omega Factor features in this list. When Tezuka rebooted the anime series in 2003, 2 Astro Boy game titles launched, one for the PlayStation 2 and another for Game Boy Advance. The latter is by far the superior of the pair. Fans of the Astro Boy franchise flocked in droves to get their hands on the game. The story includes characters from Tezuka's entire portfolio of work as seen as a love letter to his fans. Astro Boy Omega Factor combined beat 'em up action with a shock 'em up element, which is not too dissimilar to Radiant Silvergun and Ikaruga. The game looks a little dated compared to today's titles, but it is almost 20 years old. That said, Astro Boy, okay, they misspelled it here as Astro Boy. Astro Boy Omega Factor is still one of the most playable anime video games on the market today. And if RJ, if you're here and you're listening to this, you might want to talk to Bill about it, about the spelling error, this little typo. Uh, all right, and the third one, I guess, here is One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is the latest installment of the ever popular franchise by the same name. Launching in Windows, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch in March 2020, the story modifies the unfinished Wano arc. The manga Wako arc is still continuing and sees the player choose from a massive roster of 52 characters. You need to prepare for a lot of action with whichever character you choose because literally thousands of enemies adorn the screen as you fight your way through to the grand finale. The One Piece series features more than 900 episodes and around 1,000 chapters. The game is no substitute for absorbing all that, but this game allows you to rewrite or to relive many of the fantastic moments from the series. There we go. There we go. So that's it for all the main stories tonight. So hope you all enjoyed the content. If you did miss anything, you can, I do keep the streams up, so you can always go back and watch them again. If you missed something, maybe something in the story I read earlier, commented on earlier, would strike your fancy. All right, so we're just past the hour and a half mark here. Got up to an hour 32. It looks like hour 33 now. Before we start to wrap up, was there anything you guys wanted to comment on or ask in regards to what we went over tonight? Um, you know, again, is there anything you guys wanted to ask about or comment on before we on what we covered tonight? I'm good. All right. Yeah, I haven't seen Bat go back yet. I think he may have came in afterwards and liked the stream because I saw an extra like this morning when I checked so he might have came in later. But I'm gonna have to message him, see how he's doing. Should be back. He's back. It's just he's been, I guess, unpacking. But anyways, all right. Let's see. And I know Toy said he's good. We have three other people. Anybody want to comment or ask about anything we covered tonight? If not, we'll probably just go ahead and start wrapping up and hit the niche. We good. All right. Let me just. All right. So yeah. Alrighty then. So I guess it would be a good time to start wrapping up since apparently nobody had anything more they'd like to add to the show. Today is Tuesday. Well, one more thing, Dad. Don't forget this Friday, historical comic retrospect. Hopefully, I believe Batgoat should be back and ready By then, we'll be covering comics that went on sale in September 1938 from Fiction House. At that point, so hopefully, be ready for that. Anyways, so without any further ado, why don't are you guys ready for this day in Nietzsche history? You guys ready for this day in Nietzsche history as we start to wind down here? Because me and Toys are now ready. Nietzsche up. All right. Well, all right. So today is Tuesday. Yay! So today is Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. Let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. History! Uh, all right, so the first stop we're gonna head back to is 1942. See, you made us both get up from the couch. Yep. All right. So first off, we head back 80 years ago today. Is on this date, 80 years ago today, the 25th issue of Zip Comics from Archie Comics went on sale for 10 cents for 64 pages. Of course, by this time, superheroes had really become a thing, and I believe I think most of the comic book companies were publishing heroes of their own. Um, Cover art here was done by Irving H. Novick. Um, and among the featured heroes on here includes Steel Sterling and Blackjack, as well as War Eagles, Captain Valor, and a few others. So on this date, 80 years ago today, back in 1942, the 25th issue of Zip Comics from Archie Comics went on sale. Don't know if many of you knew that Archie Comics published superhero comics, but apparently they did. How about don't shy, Woody? You're still my little spoon. Okay. Anyway, so with that, moving on to the next piece of Nietzsche history. Let's see. Heading to 1982. So be heading back 40 years ago today. So you can pull that up. On this date, 40 years ago today, premiering on TV Asahi, was the Chojo Slice of Life anime Asari-chan from Toei Animation, a subsidiary of Toei Company. So on this date, 40 years ago today, Toei Animation's Asari-chan, a Chojo Slice of Life anime, premiered on TV Asahi in Japan. Good. Goat is both unpacking and packing. Laugh out loud. Anyways, okay, so with that, moving on to the next piece of Nietzsche history here. Heading forward to 1997. And on this date in 1997, 25 years ago today, from the Five Seasons Center in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, WCW held its NWO WCW Sold Out event. The main event of that show saw WCW World Heavyweight Champion Hollywood Hogan fight the Giant to a no contest. Saw Eddie Guerrero defeat Six, aka Sean Waltman, aka X Pac, um, among a number in a ladder match for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. The Steiner brothers defeated the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott, defeated the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, for the WCW World Tag Team Championships. Scott Norton would defeat Diamond Dallas Page via countout. You also, among one other major match that you'd see, Big Bubba Rogers defeated Hugh Morris in a Mexican death match. So that's pretty much. Let's see. So okay, so that's what happened there in '97. And one last piece of niche history to go through here, which happened 5 years ago today in 2017. A passing. On this date, 5 years ago today in 2017, English actor whose career spanned English actor Sir John Hurt passed away on this date at the age of 77. I know from what I had read earlier, and let me go back to the other. John Hurt, who is an actor. John Hurt, British actor, voice of Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, Hazel in Worship Downs, Splitter in The Plague Dogs, the Horned King in The Black Cauldron, is the voice of Horned King in The Black Cauldron, passed away at the age of 77. So I know he was in some, so The Black Cauldron was, I believe, a Disney production. So on this date, 5 years ago today, John Hurt, British actor John Hurt, and voice actor would pass away. So, anyways, guys, Big Boss Man, Bubba, yeah, Big Boss Man, Bubba Rogers, Ray Traylor. Woody went through a number of. He was known as Big Bubba Rogers, Big Bubba, Big Boss Man in the WWE. When he went back to WCW, of course, he initially went in as the Big Boss until copyright issues, and he went on to become the Guardian Angel, and then went back to his Big Bubba Rogers character. So, anyways, guys, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you missed anything, you can go back and watch it on a replay. And with that, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.